Okay, so here we are looking at Beaumont on my computer here on Google Maps. You can see that red dotted line outlining the city limits, right, of Beaumont. So if I zoom out, okay, let's take a look at where Beaumont is situated as a big picture, just in terms of Southern California. So you can tell just pretty much directly due east of LA, probably about an hour and a half, maybe perhaps a little bit longer depending on traffic. It is pretty much directly north of San Diego, right? So you can probably get to the city of San Diego probably in just under 2 hours. Perhaps if you're headed to the beach somewhere in North County, Oceanside, Carlsbad, really good beaches down here. Perhaps a little bit less than 2 hours, but again, all dependent on traffic. You're definitely going to run into a little bit of slowdown on the 215, like in this Murrieta and Temecula area. If you're headed to Orange County for the beach, perhaps just over an hour if you hit some pretty good traffic, depending on where you're heading into Orange County. Heading east from Beaumont, Palm Springs has quite a lot to offer. You're only about 30, maybe 45 minutes, depending on where you're headed in the deserts. If you're a mountain person, then Beaumont is only about 45, maybe an hour, depending on where you're headed in the mountains. Here you have Big Bear Lake, Lake Arrowhead. So as you can tell, very much centrally located in Southern California as a whole. If you are doing some traveling, or perhaps family or friends are coming into town to visit, I would suggest Ontario International Airport. Ontario is right in here, right off the 10. So probably about 35, maybe 40 minutes, depending on your traffic, getting to and from Ontario. This would be my first suggestion in terms of an airport. Depending on where you're coming from, right, you may save on some airfare if you're coming from a longer distance. Perhaps you want a direct flight, whatever it may be. You can choose to here's downtown LA. LAX is right here on the coast, okay, in the southern part of LA. But if you can, I would avoid LAX. Definitely very crowded, old airports, lots of congestion. I mean, they're always making upgrades, but if you can, I would try to avoid LAX. Now, you could also fly into, coming back to Beaumont here, could also fly into Palm Springs. Definitely a smaller airport, but depending on where you're coming from, you may pay a little bit of a premium on your airfare, but your traffic would definitely be a whole lot less. But again, I would definitely recommend Ontario. Do your research, see what you can find, and go with it. Okay, so let's dive back into the city of Beaumont here and look at, first of all, where you would most likely be doing your grocery shopping. So in Southern California, mostly San Bernardino County, also Riverside County, you are gonna have a Stater Brothers. Stater Brothers is right off the 10 here, on 10 and 6th Street. They're Staters. Okay, this particular location has been here for probably 20, 30 years at this point. You also have a Food for Less, Walmart over here. But I would start with Stater Brothers, really good grocery supermarket. And actually on the other side of town, it's actually just outside of the city limits. This Stater Brothers, right of Cherry Valley, was put in, I want to say like right before COVID, maybe like 2018, 2019, this little shopping area was put in. You got Staters, a couple other Starbucks, and a couple other national fast food chains. Okay, so I would start there as far as your grocery shopping. Okay, now gas stations, right off the 10, whole bunch right in here. If you're coming, there's one, I always tend to go to Arco for some reason. There's an Arco. If you're coming north, actually, from like the Hemet area, from 79 here, you'll find Arco right in here. Okay, and this area gets pretty congested, so a lot of people making the commute north, coming in on the 79, need to hop on the 10. So this stretch gets backed up, and there's actually kind of a tricky stoplight. So be careful in that intersection. So plenty of gas stations all around downtown Beaumont. And there's actually a brand new one that over on the west side of town, over by Oak Valley. There's Oak Valley Park. So this Chevron has been here. Chevron right in here. Now this 76 was put in pretty recently, like within the last year, I'd say. And if you have a Tesla, there's a whole row. I'd say there's like at least 10, maybe close to 15 Tesla charging spots. So if you have a Tesla, that'd be a good spot to quickly charge up your car. Okay, moving right along. How about schools in Beaumont? Okay, so talking about public schools and pretty much just Beaumont Unified School Districts. We have, starting at the elementary level, there are 6 elementary schools for BUSD. And as you can see here, this is according to niche.com. Pretty good ratings, right? I don't see anything lower than a C. And all the Beaumont Unified schools, I don't see anything lower than a B-, right? So I've heard really good things about Tournament Hills Elementary School. This is right on Tuckwit golf course. And then once your kids get to that middle school age, there are 2 middle schools for Beaumont Unified. First, you have San Gregorio Middle School. So according to niche.com, rating of B-, so pretty good. Okay, then a little bit further north is the other middle school in town. Mountain View Middle School is just right down the road, as you can see here from the high school. So Mountain View Middle School, B rating according to niche.com, and then the Beaumont High School, B+ rating. Now, Beaumont High School has definitely grown in the last, 2015 and really 10 years. I think their student population is creeping up already on like 4,000 students. I think it's well over like 3,400 at this point. And instead of voting to build another high school, City of Beaumont basically just is making Beaumont High School massive. I think they just finished constructing a brand new building right at the front of campus as you drive in. And I'm pretty sure that building alone is just pretty much like a freshman campus or like freshman building. So I would kind of think about, and this is more my pros and cons video about Beaumont. Think about, is Beaumont going to have another high school in town? Because it's grown so much, and I just can't see how another high school won't eventually be necessary. This is something that the city of Redlands went through in the early 90s when Rev was finally voted on to be built. So we'll see what happens in Beaumont. Okay, moving right along, let's get into restaurants. Some eats in Beaumont. Now this is a very popular place. There it is, Beaumont Cafe Country Kitchen. Okay, just like your classic American diner. Very popular for weekend brunch hours, Saturday and Sunday. Bring the family down to the cafe, have a nice little brunch. They also have lunch. I would recommend perhaps elsewhere for dinner, but really good brunch and lunch spot here in Beaumont. As you can tell, quite a lot of national chains you'll recognize. There are some regional, so if you're not from Southern California, there are some regional chains. In-N-Out, right, is fairly well known, pretty much, on the west coast of the country. You have your In-N-Out right over here by Walmart. And then you also have your Bakers, more of like a San Bernardino and Riverside County, kind of similar to In-N-Out, but you also have, the Mexican Kitchen. There's also a Mr. Taco. We have a Mr. Taco in Redlands as well. Some very good Mexican food. So as you can tell, plenty of options, right, to grab some quick bites. Some more of the sit-down options in terms of restaurants in Beaumont. I would first point you, again, over towards the west side of Beaumont. And I'm not quite sure why it's not popping up on Google Maps here. But there's a place called Sand Traps right in, so Oak Valley Golf Course is right here, right? The Sand Trap Bar and Grill is a good little, basically sports bar. Tons of TVs in there, really good burgers, sandwiches. They have a pool table in there. It's a nice little spot to grab a meal after some golf or to meet your buddies and watch a big game. Actually, had a funny experience about that place one time when Tiger Woods won the Masters back in 2019. And it was early that morning because of weather, but a couple of dudes watched Tiger win the Masters, and they were very much enjoying themselves. And after that was done, they came over and played some golf, and we actually got paired with them. So we had quite the afternoon playing golf with those guys. Now we also have Domenico's, nice little Italian spot. You can grab a cold or hot Italian sandwich or some pizza. Okay, so plenty of options to eat here in Beaumont. Okay, now if you are looking, to get your exercise routine down in Beaumont, you have a couple options. Okay, the first being right over here, in this big shopping area, you have, where'd it go? Okay, so Planet Fitness, I think it's about $30 a month, maybe 25, $30, but definitely national brand, full service gym, heard good things. Now, I've never been to this other one. It's called Extreme Fitness. You'll see really good ratings on Google. It looks like the hours aren't quite as good as Planet Fitness's 24 hours. So depending on your work schedule, when you want to work out, I have complete flexibility with Planet Fitness. But with Extreme Fitness, a little bit smaller, but I've heard very good things on Extreme Fitness. Okay, now in terms of entertainment and shopping, Beaumont does have the 2nd Street Cinema. If you want to go out and enjoy a movie, they do have the food service option at this movie theater where you can order something up and have it right there in your seats. Very good reviews. I've actually never been to this one. A little bit smaller, but still a good option. Now, in terms of shopping in Beaumont, you do have basically this whole area, right? You have Walmart, you have Kohl's. So, you can get by with pretty much staying in the city of Beaumont for, I guess, most of your shopping. You got Home Depot right here. But you may, depending on shopping or entertainment, however you want to think of it, you may consider a couple just heading outside of Beaumont. You may want to get into Redlands. If I zoom out here, heading over now, this is probably going to be just about a 10, maybe 15-minute drive. You're going to have a lot more shopping options, entertainment options in the Citrus Plaza and Mountain Grove area here in Redlands. And if you want to get even, I guess I'll do your fancy pants shopping, you actually, so back to Beaumont, right? So here we are hovering over Beaumont again. If we zoom out a little bit further, there are a ton of outlet shops here in Cabazon, right? So it's called the Desert Hills Premium Outlets, all kinds of brands. So if you have a big event coming up or you just want to revamp your wardrobe or whatever it may be, all kinds of premium shopping right here at the Cabazon outlets. Now, this is only probably about maybe 25 minutes, maybe not even that, from where you are in Beaumont. All right, I hope you liked it.